So I just thought that it would be interesting to take a couple seconds here. Does anybody identify with any of the models that I talked about?
Well,
Jody?
liberation theology, it's the Gandhi thing, that you must become the change you wish to see. And it's hard to imagine sometimes, because when we're in our little communities and our little churches and our denominations and workplaces and school, you know, there's a certain protocol, and you can take it so far. And like politics, you know, things that are going on right now, feel kind of helpless. If all of us had the mindset of becoming the change, things would change, but we become apathetic.
It seems to me there could be a fair amount of overlap between the liberation theology and the moral example theology.
The moral example is one of the later salvation theories, and each theologian doesn't work in a vacuum. They're reading the previous theologians and they're saying, this is what I agree with and this is what I don't agree with. You know, part of the struggle with this assignment that they gave us was, they said, you know, you need to pick one theologian and you need to go down through the from what, through which, and to what, and you need to decide which theologian you most closely identify with. You can't pick, you know, Christology from this one theologian and then say, well, I can't buy into what he said about the eschatology, about the end times. So that was really hard. I mean, we were allowed to explain why we disagreed on certain points, but for the most part, she said, until we identify who we most closely align to, we really can't start talking about our feelings about that, because these people have already set down words to describe the thoughts that we're having. And so rather than trying to just come up with completely a framework for yourself, you know, we're always looking back and referencing other people's ideas and other people's theories and other people's understandings. You know, it's really interesting because the Church Universal has never actually said that there's one official way to understand this stuff. Renee.
Okay, excuse me for being ignorant to this, but is this like saying Catholic, Baptist, you know, is that how you're breaking it up here?
No, certain denominations have a more concrete understanding of salvation. Obviously, if you're in an evangelical church, they will tell you how to think. The Catholic Church will tell you how to think.
Okay,
But they don't necessarily, I mean, you don't necessarily have a denominational, I mean, you're going to have denominations that more closely align with one predominantly. But it's not, I'm not saying that, you know, every single evangelical you meet is going to fall into penal substitution, because I've met some and they just don't. They've realized that that
right.
doesn't exactly.
With me being from Mississippi, I mean, Southern Baptist, you know, raised that way.
Amen.
And, they wasn't really the Bible hard thumpers, but through the years, though, and how I look at it now and how I feel is that I don't believe in no religion. I don't believe in Baptist. I don't believe in Catholic. I don't believe in no religion, but I do believe in God. I do believe there was Jesus Christ. I do believe He died on the cross for my sins. You know, so where would you even think to put yourself in one of these categories if that's how you feel, if you don't believe in a certain type, you know, typical
I
religion?
can totally identify with you, because when I was in my mid-20s, I was outside the church completely, and I told myself, I'll never set foot in an organized religion again. I just won't. I won't do it. God had the last laugh, but I went through that thing where I said, I can't buy into the doctrines of this church. I can't whole parcel swallow everything that the Catholic Church was teaching me. And so I went through this turmoil saying, I don't identify with anybody. And what I found was that I was listening mostly to the people in the church who really were using things as a weapon. They were using these things as a weapon. And so you know, I don't know where you might fall in here, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing that you're struggling with organized religion, because I think, quite frankly, you're probably in the majority here with us as far as having that struggle. And I would say, rather than focusing on, you know, trying to figure out what denomination you fit with, it's more about, you know, reading about, you know, the different ways that people interpret the life of Christ.